and Year 8, and welcome to Mastery Writing number 4. Thank you so much for the lovely work you've been sending in to both me and Miss Riley. We are really impressed with the quality of it, so keep it up. Before we get going, as always, make sure you've got the equipment that you need. Make sure you have some lined paper or your exercise book to write in. You have a pen or pencil to write with. You have a ruler for underlining your dates and titles, and you will want a coloured pen or a pencil for marking and self-correcting. Once you've got everything you need and you are distraction free, we can make a start. Okay, so as we would in all of our lessons, we're going to make sure we have our title and date written down. Make sure that you correct them though, please, because today will be Mastery Writing number 4 and it will be the 4th of March. Pause the video, make sure your page is set up and ready to go, and then press play when you're ready to begin. Okay, so today's tasks are two things. Number 1, we're going to be writing some sentences and correcting the pronouns. So we'll be using the pronouns he, she and it. And number 2, you'll be writing a paragraph independently. So we'll be talking about a picture and then you will be writing some sentences to describe what is happening. Or, in the simple past, you'll be writing some sentences to describe what happened. Okay, so let's have a look at task number 1. We're being asked to write out the sentences just as they appear on screen. But in each of the gaps we need to add a pronoun. A pronoun replaces the name of a person or thing. So we need to decide whether the correct pronoun is he, she or it. Let's do the first one together. I'll start with sentence 1. Let's read it. The lady decided to wash her car, full stop, blank, found a bucket and a sponge. So the pronoun here is going to refer to whoever found a bucket and a sponge. Now I think that must go back to the subject at the start here, the lady. So what I'm going to do is I think that this he, she or it, I think it's going to be she here. So I'll put in, when I write my sentence, a capital S. Okay, she found a bucket and a sponge. Good. And then I'll look to my next one and I decide, is it he, she or it? Which word would fit best here? Blank spent all afternoon making her car sparkle. I don't think the pronoun here is going to change. It's definitely not he, and it wouldn't make sense to say it. So the pronoun must also be she. She spent all afternoon making her car sparkle. That's correct. So I want you to write out the sentences just like I have here, and then I want you to add in the correct pronouns. Pause the video and complete that task now, please. Okay, so now you have finished, it's time for us to mark. Grab yourself a different coloured pen and let's go through the answers. Okay, we've done the first one already, but I'll fix it up again. So the first one should say she in both of the spaces. So let's read number 2. Jamil went to the garden. No, he didn't. Jamil went to the shopping centre. Full stop. Blank bought 2 pairs of trainers. What pronoun do we think goes here? Is it he, she or it? Check your work. What did you write? I'm going to say that Jamil went to the shopping centre and he bought 2 pairs of trainers. Again, in the next sentence, blank took 1 pair back the next day, so I think the pronoun must be the same. It will be he again. Now let's check number 3. The bicycle was in the garage for many years. Blank became rusty. Blank was covered in dust and spider webs. So now I decide, is it he, she or it? Well, to do that I need to check my subject. This time the subject isn't a person, it's an object. Look, the bicycle. So it would make sense to use the pronoun it. it became rusty. It was covered in dust and spider webs. Okay, so go through and check your answers. So that's number 1 correct, number 2 correct, and finally number 3 correct. You can give yourself a mark out of 3. Well done. Okay, so today we have our independent writing task. We're going to use the picture on screen to help us retell the story. You can see that there's lots of names in the picture that refer to the different people. So we're going to use them to say what must have happened. Let's start by looking at the words at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to read them to you. So the words in the vocabulary box say aquarium. You might wish to point at the words and read them with me. Aquarium, against, dragged, pointed, wailed, ice cream, pressed, fish tank. Okay, so using these words you can answer some questions here. Where was everybody? Okay, that's right, they are in an aquarium. So we're going to use that word in our writing today to explain where people were. Now look at the picture. Who is pressed against the glass? Can you see their name? You can say it out loud or point at it on screen. That's right, we can see here Jasmine is pressed against the glass. Okay, look at the picture again. What did Aya drop? Can you see what she's dropped on the floor? Okay, so Aya dropped her ice cream. And I can find that word in my vocabulary box to help me tell the story. Okay, we have the word here, wailed. So to wail means to cry loudly because you are unhappy. Who do you think would be wailing? I think it's probably Aya. Because she's dropped her ice cream, she probably wailed. Okay, so you are going to spend about 5 minutes retelling the story. You might want to tell somebody at home out loud, or you might want to tell a partner in the classroom. Talk about what the people in the picture are doing. As an extension, you might want to use some of the prompt questions below to help you. So you might want to say, how does the turtle move and what word would describe it? You might want to think about Kerry and Ali's reaction to seeing the shark. What might they think? And how might Bruno make Aya feel better? So 5 minutes, pause the video and just verbally retell the story out loud. Off you go. Okay, so well done. Before we start writing then, let's have a look at what we'll be doing for our mastery check. So our mastery check 1 here says, I have used every word from the vocabulary box correctly. Okay, so remember what I said before. If you're in year 8, I would really like you to try and use all of those words. And if you're in year 7, okay, you can use them all, absolutely, but you don't have to. So try and use as many of them as you can and use them to help you tell the story. And check 2, I've commented on all the important things that have happened in the picture. So to do that, I'm going to make sure that I include all of the names that are in the picture. And finally, check 3, I have used capital letters and full stops correctly. So I'm going to be writing in sentences that include a subject and the main action and are written in the past simple. Okay, once you're ready to start then, get yourself a pen and you're going to pause the video here. You have 10 minutes to write your paragraph and you are going to tell me about the picture, what happened, and if you need an extension, if you finish before your 10 minutes is up, you are going to say what you think happened next. So once you've told everything you can see in the picture, you can add on what you think happened next. Okay, Pause the video and spend 10 minutes writing, please. Okay, so now is the time to start checking our work, and we're going to use the mastery checks. Now, I just want you to focus on mastery check 3 for a moment. That was using capital letters and full stops correctly. Now, I'm going to read you an example that a student had written, and we're going to just add in some of the mistakes that they've made. So let's have a look. They've written, Kerry and Ali held hands in the aquarium. Full stop. That's a nice sentence. Going to give them a tick for that one. Kerry dragged Ali towards the fish tank. I like this one because they've used the word dragged from the vocab box. She pointed at a large shark. It's a good sentence too. That's also a word from the vocab box. Aya dropped her ice cream. She wailed. Uh-oh. Can you see that they've joined up two sentences? We call that a run-on sentence. Aya dropped her ice cream. What do they need to do here where there's a mistake? They need to add in, don't they, a full stop after ice cream and a capital S for she to correct that. She wailed. Well, excellent use of the word from the vocab box. Bruno gave her a tissue. Jasmine pressed against the fish tank. Okay, so there's another word from the vocab box, and then really nice sentences. She looked at a turtle. Can you see where I've circled here? They've missed out the full stop again. So we need to make sure at this point we're correcting our work and going back and adding them in. So I want you to just check through your writing and check those capital letters and full stops are all correct. Alright, so back to our mastery checks for one last time. So number 1, remember you can write this like we would in class. Just put in a little box there. Number 1, I've used every word from the vocabulary box correctly. Well, yes, you can use every word, but try and use at least, I would say, 3 to 4 of those words if you can. Once you've checked it, you can tick it off. Number 2, I've commented on all the important things that have happened in the picture. Okay, this is where you check you've included all of the different names that are in that picture. And if you haven't, you can always stop and add them in before you finish your lesson. So, number 2, make sure you've checked it before you tick it. And finally, I've used those capital letters and full stops correctly. Well, you should have just checked this one, but it's always worthwhile having one last check before you give yourself a tick. Okay. Right, so it's time to send your writing over to your teachers, please. Okay, if you're in my class, send it to me. If you're in Miss Riley's class, send it to her. You can upload it to Show My Homework, or you can send it to us on our college email. And we're really looking forward to reading your stories. I think you guys have been working really hard this week. I'm super impressed with everything you've done. So send us some evidence of your work, please. Have a good day. Bye-bye.